Hi guys, my name is Katie and welcome back to my channel. Today is all about what I am planning to read in March. Now, February was the BookTube games and it was really hectic trying to read as many pages as possible, and I had a super ambitious TBR and I totally did not read all my books on my TBR, like, at all. So this month I'm trying to do a realistic TBR, so we'll see, because I feel like TBRs, they're always a little bit of a stretch, but that's the fun in them. However, this month I'm trying to be realistic with myself, so we'll see how that goes. So I'm dividing this into two sections: the books that I plan to read physically and the audiobooks that I have been planning to read. I only started introducing audiobooks into my daily life when I started working maybe like 5-6 months ago, and I've been loving it so far, and I found that it helps me get through a lot more books in a month, and just in general I enjoy the format of enjoying a story through listening to it. The first book that I'm starting off the month of March reading is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I feel like BookTube has collectively been losing their minds over this book, with good reason. I first heard about Priory at BookCon last June when they were giving out some preliminary arcs of it. I didn't get one myself, so I've just been anticipating this book for forever because everyone is just saying how great it is, and it is a big book. As you can see, I already started it. I'm on page 199 and I barely made a dent. And I love like a big, juicy, high fantasy to sink my teeth into. And not only that, but it has a female-female romance, is a female-driven plot, and has a female author. And I just love all of these like woman-focused books. And I've been saying for such a long time that we need more women voices in adult fantasy. And this is just like the book of my dreams because it's exactly that. This is a standalone. It's just everything that I've been wanting for so long, and adult fantasy is definitely different from YA in that it's a lot more dense, but I love it, and I'm so happy to have a woman-written, woman-driven adult high fantasy story. But with that said, maybe I should tell you what it's about. The tagline, which I think is a perfect way to start off the summary, is "A world divided, a queendom without an heir, an ancient enemy awakes." We have the House of Baronet, which has ruled Innis for 1,000 years, and we have our Queen Sabran, who basically needs to produce an heir, the next daughter to be the next queen on this small island, but she has yet to do so despite being 28, and assassins are getting closer and closer to her doorstep every day. We then have Iad Durian, who is a lady-in-waiting to the queen, but who is also loyal to a secret society of hidden mages and uses her powers to protect the queen. And across the sea in the east, we follow Tane, who is an apprentice to become a potential dragon rider, but she's forced to make a choice that might change the whole course of her life. However, the east and the west remain divided, and with their refusal to talk to one another, an ancient enemy awakens. Yes, this is a dragon book, which is why there are dragons on the cover and a dragon on the back, and I love dragons and dragon stories. I love thick books that are just can really sink your teeth into, and I love just woman-written high fantasy stories. So this is everything that I love, and I'm so excited to be reading it. After I get through the behemoth that is Priory, I am next planning on picking up the Gilded Wolves by Rashani Chokshi, which is super exciting because I'm actually going to be a guest host for the Books with Friends book club, hosted by Chloe from Books with Chloe and Spencer from Common Spence. Our live show is going to be on March 23rd on Spencer's channel, so definitely make sure to check it out, and I will link some info for that down in the description below. This is one of my most anticipated releases of 2019, and I'm just so excited to be having a live show where I get to chat with everyone about this book. I think live shows are a really great forum for discussing books in a way that you don't necessarily get on a video, because you get to have a back and forth between fellow book lovers. So it's just fantastic, and I'm so excited. It's like funny how light this feels holding this after holding a Priory for a few minutes. The Gilded Wolves takes place in the dark and glittering setting of Paris in 1889. Severin Montagnat Ellery is a treasure hunter and wealthy hotelier. His life gets turned upside down when the ancient and mysterious Order of the Babel approaches Severin to be a treasure hunter for a mysterious ancient artifact, and in exchange they offer him something he never knew he even wanted: the secrets of his true inheritance. To hunt down this treasure, Severin assembles a team of misfits, and you know I love a good team of misfits. So we have an engineer, a historian, a dancer, and a brother in arms. And together they hunt through the streets of Paris to find this ancient artifact. Yeah, I love groups of misfits coming together to hunt treasure. Paris. This just has so many elements that I love, and I've heard Roshni Chokchi's writing is gorgeous, and I can't wait to dive into this book and discuss it with everyone on March 23rd. So after all of that, I want a much smaller standalone book, and I decided to pick up An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. This cover is just so gorgeous. I believe it's illustrated by Charlie Bowater, and it has just been calling to me ever since I saw that Margaret Robertson has a new book coming out this year called Sorcery of Thorns, and I decided I wanted to pick this one up before then. And it is a small standalone fantasy, and I feel like I need some more standalone fantasies in my life because most YA fantasies are series, which I also love, but it's good to change it up now and then. And the tagline for this one is "Every enchantment has a price." In this world, fae cannot create anything. If they try to bake bread, write anything, sew anything, anything that requires creation, it just crumbles to dust. And so they rely on humans for what they call craft. Isabelle is a human painter, and she is hired to paint a portrait of the Autumn Prince, Rook. However, she must face trial when she does something that is forbidden in this world of fae. She paints human emotions in Rook's eyes. This expression of sorrow is forbidden amongst the unfeeling fae, and her and Rook must soon depend on one another for survival when things go awry during her trial. Yes, fae painting, dark, angry, mischievous, evil fae. I love those kinds of books, so I'm just excited to read this, and I think it'll be a quick book to breeze through, but also a lot of fun. So this is on my March TBR. And the last of my books for my March TBR, yes, I'm only putting 4 physical books on my March TBR because I think this is a very doable goal, whereas before I put like 8 or 9 books, and it's just so unrealistic, especially when you have a full-time job. So, you know, I'm trying to be real with myself. But the last book on my TBR is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. What's super exciting about this is my copy is signed and personalized to me because I went to the Laini Taylor signing in New York City for the release of Muse of Nightmares, and this is her first trilogy. I love Laini Taylor's writing. Strange a Dreamer is one of my favorite duologies of all time, and this book does connect to the world of Strange a Dreamer, so I'm excited to kind of see the threads between the two. Also, my friend Melissa read this book way back in the day when it first came out, and she said how much she loved it, and now hopefully I can convince her to maybe read it with me so that we can get back into the world of Laini Taylor together. Karou is an art student in Prague. However, she is full of mysteries. She has blue hair that just magically grows out of her head that way, speaks a multitude of languages, and not all of them human, and will disappear for long stretches of a time with no clue as to where she's gone. Things change for Karou when beautiful haunted Akiva lays his eyes on her, and Karou can finally learn the secrets of herself. This summary is very ethereal and mysterious and just makes me want to read the book to know more because it really doesn't give a lot away, and that's what's so great about Laini Taylor books is you just kind of go in knowing that you're going to have this beautiful writing and be swept up in this world, and you don't know what kind of treat you're going to be in for. So I'm very excited to read this, and I have decided to read this because there is a Daughter of Smoke and Bone read-along that a lot of great booktubers are taking part in, and hopefully I can read this and tune into the live show because, again, I love live shows. I think they're so fantastic. Moving on, these next books are the books that I plan on reading on audio this month. I have been using my local library for audiobooks through the app of Livy, and it's fantastic. I have had no trouble really getting any books that I want to read on audio besides maybe having to wait some time if they're new. But these are the books that are coming up soon on my queue that I maybe had on hold for a while or just were easy to get. Firstly, I am currently listening to Gathering Shadows by Morgan Rhodes. This is the 3rd book in the Fallen Kingdom series. I will be done with it soon, and then hopefully we'll get to Frozen Tides, which is the 4th book in the series, by the end of March. This is the first fantasy series that I've listened to on audio, and I was very hesitant to start listening to fantasy books on audio because sometimes it can be a little bit hard to figure out like what's going on, all the names of the places and stuff like that, but it's very easily digestible via audio, and the narrator is fantastic. His accents are like really bring the story to life, and I love that. In Fallen Kingdoms, magic has been lost for centuries and is slowly awakening in the land of Mythica. Rulers grapple for power and rebel forces arise. We follow 4 main players: Cleo, a princess that has been raised and pampered in luxury; Jonas, a peasant enraged by the injustices to his family and to his people; Lucia, adopted into the royal family and finds out the prophecy surrounding her destiny; and Magnus, the heir to the Blood King, raised in aggression, but realizes that the heart can be more dangerous than the sword. This was just a really good YA fantasy book. Some people say it's kind of like a YA Game of Thrones, and I agree with that comparison. I think it's got a lot of the sprawling world building and brutality, but scaled down a bit from Game of Thrones. So I'm really enjoying it so far. Next up is Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson. I listened to Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson, the first book in this series, in January on audio, and I absolutely adored it. So I have been highly anticipating the sequel, which came out on like January 22nd, and I put it on hold on Libby immediately, and it is finally in my possession to listen to. So I'm about to dive on into it. Ellingham Academy is a famous academic institution where highly gifted students can come to pursue any passion that they dream up. However, it is also famous for the cold case kidnapping of Albert Ellingham's wife and daughter in 1936. The only clue is a letter signed Truly Devious threatening the academic institution. Stevie Bell. Stevie Bell is a true crime aficionado that has just been accepted into Ellingham Academy, and for her thesis she decides that she is going to solve this cold case. However, things take a turn for the worse when Truly Devious returns and a student is murdered. Now Stevie must solve the mysteries of both the past and present. Yes, it's a fun mystery set at a boarding school, which is why I adored the first book, and it ended on a really big cliffhanger, so I want to know what's going to happen next, and I believe it's going to be a trilogy, which is really exciting. The next book I have on hold, which I should be getting in approximately 2 weeks, hopefully the person reading it now hurries up and finishes it so that I can get it, is Daughter of the Siren Queen by Trisha Levenseller. I listened to Daughter of the Pirate King last month in February, and it took me like 2 days to finish because I loved it so much. It's just such a swashbuckling pirate adventure, and the accents in the audiobook are great. It's really like old matey and makes you feel like you're in Pirates of the Caribbean, except it's a female pirate and she's awesome. The daughter of the Pirate King is the fearsome Alosa. She is sent on a mission to retrieve an ancient, mysterious, powerful map leading to untold treasures. In order to do this, she lets herself be captured by the enemies. The only thing in her way, the unexpectedly clever and handsome first mate Ryden. But Alosa has some tricks up her sleeve and will stop at nothing to complete her mission. And in Daughter of the Siren Queen, we just continue on with the journey, and I'm excited to see where this goes, because pirates and sirens, and I am into it. And the witty banter in the first book was off the charts, so I'm looking forward to more witty banter because I love books where the two main characters have witty banter. And finally, the next book that I've had on hold for eons and will hopefully be getting soon is What If It's Us by Becky Albertelli and Adam Silvera. Becky Albertelli is the author of Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda, and Adam Silvera is the author of They Both Die at the End, both books that I read this summer during the BookTube games, I think, and I absolutely adored. So I'm excited to see what their collaboration will be like. Arthur is only in the city for the summer, and Ben is at the post office dropping off a box of his ex-boyfriend's belongings when they have a meet cute. After meeting, they decide to go on a date, but after a string of failed dates, can they actually make it work? It just sounds so cute and romantic, and I think it'll be perfect to listen to on audio, and it'll just probably make me smile on my way to work, listening on the subway, and people will be like, what is wrong with this girl? She's smiling like crazy to herself, and it's before coffee time. But you know, it'll be a great time. So those are my plans for March. I hoped I set myself up for success. But you know what? You should never feel bad for not meeting your reading goals. Reading is supposed to be something that is a fun hobby and something that you do to relax. If you shouldn't feel pressured to read a certain amount of books or feel like you're not reading enough, any little bit of reading is enough, even if it's only a page. And I think that's something that I really want to try and keep in mind moving forward, and to not feel pressured to have to read all of these books. But I am so excited for all of these titles, and I think I'm gonna have a great time reading all of them, and I can't wait to share my thoughts with everyone. If you have read any of these books, or you are planning on reading any of these books in March, please let me know down below. Also let me know if you plan on joining the Books with Friends live show, because I would be so happy for you to be there and have some fun, read some books. I'll catch you guys in the next one.